Okay, so strap yourselves in for this one because today we are diving deep into something pretty wild.
Uh-huh.
A mountain in Indonesia called Gunung Padang.
Ah.
It's causing a total stir in the world of archaeology. And honestly, some of the stuff out there about this place, I mean, it sounds like something straight out of an Indiana Jones movie.
No, it really does.
So Gunung
Uh,
Padang, it's a site that some researchers believe could totally rewrite our understanding of human history.
Yeah, that's right.
The big claim here, and get this, it's a big one,
Mm.
is that Gunung Padang could actually be home to a pyramid. A pyramid
Mm.
that predates the pyramids of Egypt
Wow.
by potentially thousands of years.
Thousands.
Yeah, we're talking like 20,000 years ago, possibly even older. I mean,
If that's true.
right.
Mhm.
So I got to ask, what evidence is out there that's making people think this place is so ancient?
Well, if you can picture this mountain, right? It's got
Yeah.
these layers upon layers of stone structures, but they're hidden beneath the surface.
Underneath.
Yeah. And the people who are really into this ancient pyramid theory, they look at these structures as proof that somebody built this. They say there's just no way that natural formations could create something this intricate.
I see. So they were saying it's just way too complex to be natural.
Exactly. That's their argument.
But hold on, 20,000 years? How do they even come close to dating something that far back?
Well, they use carbon dating.
Right, carbon dating.
And there have been a bunch of studies done on organic materials, stuff they found at Gunung Padang. And some of the results, they point to this super early origin, like way back, possibly more than 20,000 years.
Wow. Okay, so if that's right, this thing would be way older than any pyramid we know about.
For sure.
So I'm starting to get why this is causing such a commotion. But come on, there's got to be another side of this story.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I mean, are all archaeologists on board with this ancient pyramid idea?
You know, not really. Mainstream archaeologists and geologists, too, they're not exactly convinced. They're pretty skeptical.
I can imagine.
They argue that you can't always trust carbon dating results.
Okay.
Well, a lot of things can mess them up.
Like what?
Like if the samples get contaminated,
Right, contaminated.
or even if organic materials have moved around over time.
I hadn't thought of that.
It happens. And they also point out that you can find similar rock formations, like the ones at Gunung Padang, in nature.
Really?
Yeah, and they're formed by volcanic activity.
Oh, so they're saying volcanoes can create those kinds of structures.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like it really comes down to how you interpret the evidence.
You got it.
And it gets even more interesting because I keep hearing about these astronomical alignments at Gunung Padang.
Oh, yeah.
Do those alignments support the ancient pyramid idea?
Well, that's where things get even more debated. Some researchers, they claim that certain features at Gunung Padang line up with certain stars or constellations. And they say this means the people who built it had some pretty advanced astronomical knowledge.
Oh, right.
But the skeptics, they say,
Yeah.
these alignments could just be coincidence.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. There are so many stars up there
That's true.
and so many different ways to line things up that it's not that surprising to find some matches.
Right. I guess it's kind of like connecting the dots.
Exactly.
Like you can always find a pattern if you look hard enough.
Exactly.
It's like we have these two groups, both looking at the same stuff, but coming to totally different conclusions.
Yeah, it's a real head scratcher.
It's like a real-life archaeological mystery.
It really is.
But what's really fascinating to me is that this debate isn't just happening in academic circles.
Oh, no.
It's happening online, too,
Big time.
like on social media and stuff.
Everywhere.
And everyone's got an opinion. It's pretty wild.
You said it.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a double-edged sword,
How so?
I mean, on the one hand, it's great that people are interested and that they're talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I get that.
But then again, there's so much information out there. And it's not all good information. It can be tough to figure out what's true and what's not.
It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, pretty much.
And sometimes the people who shout the loudest, they aren't necessarily the ones who know the most.
Right. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I mean, it reminds me of those online debates about whether the Earth is flat.
Oh, I know, right?
So how should we, as listeners,
Yeah.
who are just trying to figure all this out,
Oh, yeah.
how should we approach this kind of information?
Well, I think the key is to be critical.
Critical.
Yeah. To not just believe everything you read or hear.
Especially when it comes to something as complex as archaeology.
Exactly.
So where does all of this leave us?
Well, I think Gunung Padang is a good reminder of what? That we don't have all the answers, and that what we think we know about the past can change as we learn new things. Sometimes the most interesting mysteries don't have easy solutions. And in the end, we all have to weigh the evidence, look at things from different angles, and come to our own conclusions.
You've given us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last thought.
Okay.
Just imagine. That new research at Gunung Padang finds undeniable proof that it was built by humans 20,000 years ago. What would that mean for our understanding of history? What would it tell us about what our ancestors were capable of? Would we have to completely rethink everything we thought we knew about the past? It's pretty mind-blowing, isn't it?
It really is. Right.